internet. I was trying to go live and it was just not letting me. It's not feeling me. So I'm recording it and I'll put it on Facebook. But I want to come on and talk coffee because I have shout out to so many new customers that are beginning their Thrive journey. Either as samplers, I have a lot of new customers who got their whole month and they're ready to get started. But a lot of the conversation I've been having, y'all, has been surrounded around coffee. Y'all freaking out. I remember freaking out. I was a coffee drinker. I don't know if y'all remember my story, but 2 to 3 cups a day, that was your girl, that was me. I almost did not even thrive at all because I thought there was no way I'm not gonna have coffee. So I wanna touch on coffee for you guys, just so you can just have a moment of clarity for yourself. But for me, I will say that I made it plainly clear that I was going to attempt to not have coffee, but if I felt like I needed it, guess what? I was having it, period, point blank, period. My promoter knew that. That was the expectation that was set. I would try not to have coffee, but it was not going to be something I could necessarily promise. And I was okay with that because guess what? I'm grown and I can do what I want to do. And that's the same for you guys. You're adults. So what we are going to do is own whatever decision we make. We are not going to be a victim of Keisha took my coffee, or whoever your promoter is took my coffee, or Thrive took my coffee, or Le-Vel took my coffee and I couldn't have my coffee. No, everybody who is thriving is an adult, and you make a decision for yourself as to whether or not you are going to have coffee while you're doing your Thrive experience. The reason we recommend that you don't is because not all coffee is good coffee. There is a lot of debate about caffeine and whether or not caffeine is good for you or if it's bad for you. And that's a debate amongst scientists, not amongst Keisha. I'm not doing it with y'all. I'm not going to say caffeine is bad because I don't believe it is. But I am going to say that I had my own personal experience with coffee, and it wasn't about the caffeine. For me, it was my relationship with my coffee, okay? So let that resonate with you for just a moment. Maybe it's not the coffee, maybe it's not the Dr. Pepper or the 7-Up or the energy drink. Maybe it's your relationship with it. That's the issue, not that you had it at all. Because I personally think that a lot of things in moderation isn't bad, but the problem is most of us don't know how to do things in moderation. So let me tell you my experience with coffee, and then hopefully many of you can relate to it. If it's coffee for you, if it's tea, or if it's just whatever it is that your vice that contains caffeine. For me, I drank 2 to 3 cups a day just to get through. Busy, crazy, tired, exhausted. Coffee helped me, get through my day. However, I was kind of the girl who had to have it, and that's not a good relationship. I remember going into the office, and the first thing I did was go to the coffee, and if I hadn't picked it up on my way in because I was running late, which happened like literally all the time, people who weren't coffee drinkers would make a comment like, I'm so glad I'm not a slave to coffee. And I didn't care that they were making the comments because again, I'm grown, I'm gonna do what I want to do, get out of the way of the Keurig machine. But that was my go-to to get through my day. So maybe the caffeine that was in the coffee wasn't the issue, but maybe it was the issue with the creamer and then the sugar. And then more creamer and then a little more sugar to make it taste just right. And then maybe it was the fact that I had 2 to 3 per day, depending on how many I had, with the cream and the sugar. So what does that mean? That means I'm getting all this extra sugar, all this extra creamer. It's adding to weight gain. It's adding to the high and the low, the crash that comes after the coffee. It's making me literally exhausted after the crash. The trickle down effect of having the coffee. So maybe it wasn't the coffee, y'all. Maybe it was just my relationship with coffee. And then I evaluated on that 2nd cup or that 3rd cup. For me, it was like just the habit of lifting the cup and sipping it. Because I do like the taste of alcohol. I do like the taste of alcohol too. I like the taste of coffee. But sometimes it was just the habit of doing like a smoker. Like we just have that motion of doing it releases an endorphin that says everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be great. And So you're adding all those things into your body that your body literally does not need or want, which is why you have all the other side effects of having too much of it. So that is my relationship with coffee, which led me to the decision on my own for me to say, I'm just gonna go all out with this Thrive experience. When I began, I'm gonna play full out. I am going to cut the coffee cold turkey and see how it goes. If it sucked, guess what I was doing? I was gonna get myself more coffee, but it turns out over a year later, I still don't need the coffee. Do I still want the coffee sometimes? Yes, and I make myself a cup. I do decaf, but I'm okay with it, y'all, because I don't need the caffeine from the coffee. I don't now depend on the motion of having the coffee. Like, I took control of that urge, and I feel so accomplished by doing so. So if I have a cup of coffee, I can do so in moderation. If you talk to a recovering addict or someone who is, no longer an addict, and you ask them, sorry, that's in my mouth, and you ask them, do you think it's harder to cut back or to cut out in hindsight? Oftentimes they'll tell you that it was easier for them to cut it out completely in hindsight, because even just a little would make them spiral, and a little became a lot. Now, going back to alcohol, because apparently I want to talk about alcohol, there's nothing wrong with a glass of wine. There's nothing wrong with maybe one drink, but maybe 3 drinks or 4 drinks isn't so great. Going back to your relationship with alcohol, or piece of cake. There's nothing wrong with a bite of cake, a piece of cake, a slice of cake. 3 or 4 slices of cake is probably where the problem proceeds. So for those people, they may have to not have the cake in the house so that they don't eat the whole cake. And so that's how I felt with regards to my coffee and when I started my Thrive experience. For me, it wasn't the coffee. It was my relationship with the coffee. So maybe, just maybe, while you're beginning your Thrive experience, you cut it out completely, or tea or your Diet Coke completely. Get a hold of that relationship that you have with it, especially if you're doing more than 1 per day, and see how it goes. Most of my people who are having the same type of experience that I'm having, which is amazing, have cut out whatever their vice was. But a lot of them in the beginning still had a little bit. Like, they would start out and the habit was more powerful than their willpower, and they made a cup, but then they were able to take 2 or 3 sips of that coffee and didn't finish it. And a lot of them don't drink coffee or anything to say. They won't even do decaf. I will. It's cold. So anyway, I just wanted to share the coffee experience from my personal experience, because I feel like a lot of people are on the struggle bus. I've talked to so many of y'all too. I'm so proud of you, because the hardest part about getting started with the change for health and wellness is literally getting started. And a lot of you are getting started and you're like, hey, so now I'm ready. And I'm excited for you. I don't want the coffee thing to be, to trip you up. Just know that if you make a decision to do it, then if it doesn't work out for you and you feel like you got to make that cup, it's okay if you have to. But nobody's a victim here. Nobody's going to be the victim of having your coffee taken. What's going to happen is you're going to make your mind up that you're going to stop, see how it goes, go work out, eat better, drink your water, and then maybe, just maybe, you have the experience that I had and that so many others have had. And it won't be because somebody told you to, because you made a decision to do it on your own. That's all I got. Have a good night.